Hello and welcome to the 50th episode of the Honesty Pod with me, Beth Quintenton. Here you will find nothing but honesty, whether you like it or not, and things that you need to hear. So, firstly, if you're watching on YouTube, I do have a hot water bottle on my lap without like a fluffy case for it, so just allow me. I don't know where it's gone, and I'm cold, so that's why that is a thing. But anyway, let's get into the topic of today's podcast, which is unpopular fitness opinions. So some of these may ruffle your feathers a little bit, however, bear with me and understand why some of these are a thing, you know, and why maybe some people it's good. I think it's always good to do this kind of stuff to get like other people's perspectives and understand things in a different way. So yeah, I put a question box up on Instagram, and some of you popped your unpopular fitness opinions in there, and I popped a few of my own in there as well. So yeah, let's get going, guys. So the first one is, it's never too late to work on your fitness, no matter your age or capabilities, but few choose to. And for sure, this is without a doubt a thing, you know. For example, I have, met a lot of people's, grandmas and granddads, mums, dads, all that kind of, older people basically. And there's always such a stark difference in, people that regularly keep up some kind of fitness. Doesn't matter what it may be, but just kind of, making sure they're regularly attending some kind of class, or they're going to the gym, or they're doing some kind of home workout stuff. There's always such a difference in how people live their lives in comparison to those that just don't. And there's so many older people that just don't do any kind of exercise because, I don't know, maybe they're thinking, well, I'm at that age now, I don't have to worry, and I'm getting older, blah blah blah. But I think if anything, that's more of a reason to continue working out, because mostly from what I've seen, and I'm pretty sure there's probably some scientific studies to back up what I'm saying as well, however I have not done that much research for this, so I don't know, I could be wrong. But yeah, I'm pretty sure those that do regularly exercise into their later life do just have a better quality of life in general, and it means that their cognitive abilities, so it's not even just from like a physical standpoint of just making sure your body is healthy, but it's also mental as well. Things like resistance training into your later life can make sure that your cognitive ability is so much better than what it would be without exercise. And also, just your ability to be able to do stuff for yourself and continue to stay independent. So if you are someone that, when you get onto the later part of your life and you're thinking, I do not want to be one of those really old people that is not able to do anything because of the lifestyle that they have lived leading up to that age, make sure you are working out, my friends. As I say, it doesn't matter what kind of working out you're doing, as long as in general you're just making sure you're moving your body, you're doing something that you really enjoy, and it's consistent throughout your life. Of course, if you take it to the extremes of bodybuilding and being an athlete, naturally you're gonna more than likely have quite a few potential injuries going into the later part of your life, and maybe you might get things like arthritis a lot easier, and other kinds of stuff as well, as there usually is, quite a few negative implications of taking something to the extreme. However, come on people, we've got to be active. We are literally built to be active. We are built to go out, to go and hunt, to be able to survive on fairly little food until our next meal comes about. So we've got to keep up with it, okay? It's definitely something that I'm going to make sure that I'm carrying into the later part of life, and, you know, making sure that those around me are doing that as well, you know. Okay, right, let's go on to the next one, which is something that I read quite a while ago, and I really agreed with it. However, it may ruffle your feathers, okay? And if it does, that is okay, but then also think about why it might ruffle your feathers. Okay, and this is that we are privileged to have to lose weight. And I know those of you that maybe have really struggled with your weight for your pretty much your whole life, or you've just always had a really bad relationship with your body in regards to weight and how you look, etc, etc. This for you might feel like a bit of a stab in the heart. However, looking at it, taking away the emotions and looking at it from a broader perspective, if you have to lose weight, let's be honest, we are privileged. We are privileged to be in that position, okay? Because there are so many hundreds of thousands of humans on this planet that do not have enough food resources to survive sometimes, to feed their families, and so the being overweight and having the almost unlimited resources food wise is a privilege. And of course, that's not me saying that weight loss is easy or anything like that. I'm just saying, if you are in a position to have to lose weight, then, you know, although there may be some things that have led you to that point in your life, it is a privilege to have potentially used food as a coping mechanism, or, you know, as a comfort thing. So yeah, I hope you kind of understand where I'm coming from with that, and I'm not trying to make those that want to lose weight feel like it's just a walk in the park, okay? I just want you to see it from that kind of outside perspective. Okay, cool. So the next one is unpopular fitness opinion. Just don't size up in clothing. Like, when you are going shopping and you're thinking, oh, I really love, for example, these pair of jeans, I am worried that I'm going to put on a little bit of weight over the next few months, so actually I'm going to get them in a size 14 rather than a size 12, because I want to make sure that they fit and that, you know, I fit in them well. And I always think, and I've had quite a few conversations about this topic with my clients, I always think whenever you're mentally saying, right, I'm going to get this in a size up just in case I regain weight, is almost like a bit of self-sabotage in itself, because it's almost like you're allowing yourself to potentially go back to unhealthy habits or unhealthy coping mechanisms, and you're almost giving yourself the green light to go and do that, okay? If life gets tough, which it always does, you know, we can never predict the ups and downs of life. They're very sporadic. So yeah, whenever you have that kind of thought pop into your head when you're shopping, whether that be online or in store, always think, you know what, I'm going to buy the size that I am now, because it's going to mean that I am more likely to stick to the healthy habits that I have built, and it means that I'm not giving myself the green light to reverse back to where I used to be, which in turn is more than likely going to affect my physical health, of course, but also my mental health massively as well, okay? And your, you know, mindset, how you think about yourself, etc, etc. So it has a lot more negative connotations, that's probably the wrong word, but yeah, it's got a lot more negatives sizing up than it does positives, okay? So that's another one that I hold, yeah, that I think is the way forward, you know. Another one, this is another one of my own, is exercising when pregnant. I have met very few pregnant women that actually keep up some kind of exercise when pregnant, And I don't think pregnant women realise how much exercise will really aid your birth, because you're making sure that your body is a little bit more adjusted to that stress, to it's going to be stronger, your muscles are going to be stronger. Obviously, the stronger your pelvic floor is, the better it's going to be for you as well, especially if you have a natural birth. And yeah, few pregnant females exercise, and it really does baffle me, because obviously you are, more than likely doing everything you can to make sure the baby's all good, you're eating well, and you're kind of being aware of how much stress certain situations are putting on you, and kind of removing yourself from those situations, etc., to protect the baby. But then we completely miss out something that's so vital, and that is exercising, moving your body. And as I say, when you first fall pregnant, of course there are lots of adaptations that you have to consider when exercising when pregnant. It's not as straightforward as when you're not pregnant. So there are a lot of things to consider. However, it is so possible, and it is so, it's just, I want to be able to drill into every single female's head that it's almost a necessity. We need to be doing some kind of consistent training. And of course, it's not going to be really, really hard and heavy training. It's not going to be really, really intense training. Definitely not, okay? But just making sure that general movement of the body, getting a little bit of a sweat on, getting your heart rate up a little bit, and kind of working those muscles as well, is so detrimental. And when you first kind of almost, if you're trying for a baby, for example, or when you first find out if maybe it wasn't really supposed to happen at that time for you, then you should be thinking, right, I need to prepare my body for when this little beam is ready to pop out, because obviously that, labour, all of that stuff, it's massively stressful on the body, and yeah, probably, I assume, one of the most excruciating experiences that we can physically experience. I don't know, I haven't had a kid, however, I can very much imagine that's what it would be like, and I'm sure many people with children can attest for that. But yeah, you should be thinking, right, I need to prepare my body, I need to make sure it's strong enough, I need to make sure that I am healthy, that I am, really just, just taking a little bit more of a, okay, cool, I need to make sure I've got my movement in today, go for a walk, get my steps in. And I'm not saying you need to be on a rigid plan for the whole time that you are pregnant. We just need to, get a few days of movement in, get a few sessions in per week, keep it consistent throughout the pregnancy. Naturally, things will have to change a little bit as you get further into the pregnancy. But oh my God, please, if you are pregnant right now, or you are thinking about getting pregnant, or you're trying to get pregnant, or, for the future when you are, eventually going to be pregnant, please remember to exercise. It is very important. Obviously, of course, always check with your doctor before doing any kind of new exercise, especially if you're pregnant now. Check with your doctor before for them to give you the okay, and then go ahead. And of course, any of you who have or will recently fall pregnant, check with your doctor, of course. However, it's so important. Please, ladies, please, when you are with child, exercise. Okay, next up, this was one that was a reply to my Instagram question, and that is, improving your fitness actually isn't that complicated. It's the consistency side of things that people struggle with. And I very much agree with this. I very much agree, because when I'm looking at it from a sense of, most of us know how to exercise, right? We know how to live a healthy lifestyle. But it's that accountability of doing it that a lot of people struggle with. And with accountability comes consistency. So it's not actually the things you need to do necessarily to get fitter and healthier, lose weight, gain muscle, whatever your goal may be. It's always the consistency side of things that people struggle with implementing any kind of new habit or new thing in your life. Consistency is going to be potentially an issue for you. For a lot of people, it's very rare that it's not. And yeah, fitness in general is not that complicated. Go to the gym, do this, do that, you know, eat fairly well, have a few treats every now and then, but don't eat like a dickhead. That is literally something I tell my clients all the time. Just don't eat like a dickhead and you'll be fine. And yeah, you know, we all know how to do it, but we just don't necessarily put ourselves in the right mindset to be doing it consistently. And that is one of the reasons why I focus so heavily on mindset when you are on the body confidence coaching program that I run, is because as soon as we've changed that mindset to think, right, I need to be ticking off X, Y, and Z today because that's going to get me a step closer to the person that I want to be, and it's going to be in line with the values that I hold, it makes it so much easier. Because it's almost like, this is the person I am a healthy individual, I, you know, exercise 2-3 times per week, I make sure that I'm going out for regular walks, I eat well, you know, I fuel my body, I look after myself, I give myself the self-care and the space from other people that I need. And yeah, it just feeds into your identity, right? You know, especially when it feeds into your values. So this is why I focus so heavily on that kind of stuff in the body confidence coaching program, because it means that we're making life changes, not just quick fix changes or, oh, a couple of months before my next holiday, I need to make sure I lose weight and look good on the beach. No, that's not what we do here. Although, yes, that very much is, but it's not a short-term solution, okay? This is a lifelong change that you're going to make with me. But you're not going to feel like you have to be with me for the rest of your life, because that would kind of defeat the point, really, wouldn't it? You know, I've designed the program so that you eventually feel like you've got all of the knowledge, you've got the confidence, you feel like you can be more accountable to yourself, and then you flee the nest and you go and live the rest of your life. And I watch you from afar and I think, that queen, that is a queen, you know? So yeah, improving your fitness actually isn't that complicated. It's the consistency side of things that people struggle with, and I for sure agree. For sure, especially with being a coach for the last 3-4 years. Yeah, I could not agree more. Okay, another one. So we've only got 2 more left, so strap yourselves in. Next one is, we are way too lazy these days. Always looking for the easiest way to lose weight, etc. This complicates fitness and makes it confusing for yourself. Follow what works. And yes, I could not agree more, because I obviously specialise in ladies that, you know, haven't been able to lose weight for a number of years, or maybe even their entire lives. They've always had a difficult relationship with themselves and their body, and, you know, just how they treat themselves and stuff. And a lot of people always try and go for what they think will be the easiest way, or you know, the way that requires less effort from them. And this is sometimes because their priorities maybe aren't in the right order or in the right place, and it's just about rearranging a few things to be able to get to, you know, just living the life that you really, really want to. But this is also why so many hundreds of thousands of millions of people fall for these fad diets and waste so much money each year on fad diets. For example, things like any kind of weight loss pills. Please never buy these. They usually just, yeah, ruin your insides, make you number 2 quite a lot, and it's just not very comfortable experience, and it's not necessary for losing weight, okay? It's not necessary. Things like the skinny teas, skinny coffees, all of that bullshit, basically any supplement we don't need. We don't need it. We do not need any kind of weight loss supplement. Or for example, like like fitness guide by like some influencer that's just come off Love Island that actually really does not know what they're doing and can't really do a bodyweight squat very well. That kind of stuff as well, not necessary, because it's not taking into account your lifestyle, it's not taking into account your fitness levels, it's not taking into account any injuries or weak areas that you have. It's not tailored towards you. And that is why that kind of stuff just doesn't work, because it's not tailored towards you. It's very unrealistic. It's something that most people can't consistently do because they've got other priorities in life. They've got children, they've got animals, they've got full-time job, they've got potentially they have to look after someone in the family. You know, there's you know, a lot of people don't have much time. So it's about managing that time effectively so that you feel like you are getting closer to where you want to be, you're getting healthier, you're focusing on yourself, you're able to give your other energy and bits to, you know, the people that are around you and your kids, etc, etc. And also you're able to give some energy back to yourself via self-care and, yeah, just kind of recognizing when you're burnt out a lot more. So yeah, please do not go for any kind of weight loss supplement or workout guide or nutrition plan from someone that doesn't know what they're doing and isn't a professional, because although it seems a great thing at the time, a few weeks in, sometimes even a few days in, you realise actually I can't do this, and that's because it's not tailored towards you and your lifestyle. So please do not waste your money. Anyway, moving on, because I can chat about that for literal days. So last and final one. Your body is like a business. Calories are like income. Fat is like leaving money in your check account, and muscles are like making investments. If you understand this concept, you will be fit for the rest of your life. If you don't, you will never be fit. And this is an interesting, this wasn't one of my own. This was something that someone else popped into the question box. And I think this is interesting. It's a very interesting way to look at it. However, there's some bits that I agree with, some bits that I don't agree with. Like I do quite like looking at things like, I don't know, from a business perspective, or just from a perspective of this is something that we have to make sure is successful in order to make sure that, you know, other areas of our lives are successful. However, this seems very robotic and not very it seems more like this would suit a male in comparison to a female. I hope that makes sense from a point of view of like, oh okay, well it's just this and this, and that's all I need to worry about, rather than having, you know, 1,001 other things to worry about on top of this. You know, it's almost like making it so simplified that it should be something that everyone can do, or you know, or you know what, it's screaming 7 days a week, working out 7 days a week vibes at me, and I'm not about that at all. It's all, yeah, it's almost like, well, if you don't live this way, you're a failure, which is definitely not the case, but just things need to be adjusted for certain individuals, and especially if you're a busy mum, a busy businesswoman, a busy female doing lots of different stuff. It's not always as easy as having the same routine every day, ticking things off your list, going to bed, waking up, doing the same thing again. You know, a lot of us have very different day-to-day lives, and we have to cater towards that and make sure that arrangements are made, and, you know, realistic goals are set so that we don't kind of fall off the wagon, you know. So yeah, that is an interesting one, and some of you may agree with that, some of you may not. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm 50-50. I definitely see why they would compare it to a business, for sure. But yeah, it's almost like they're saying that body fat should not be there, and that muscles are the be all and end all of life, which is definitely not the case. And we need body fat. It's very important, especially to us females, for our menstrual cycle function, hormonal function, all that kind of stuff. It's incredibly important, but obviously the amount of it you have will then, you know, denote whether or not we're in a safe zone with our health or not. But yeah, something to ponder. Leave a comment on underneath the YouTube video if you're watching there, or on Spotify, as to what you think in regards to the last one, or any of the other ones. If you've got any opinions at all, please share, because these are unpopular opinions for a reason, so please share yours. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and follow me on Instagram at BethQFitness, and the Honesty Pod at the Honesty Pod on Instagram as well. If you're interested in finding out more about the Body Confidence Coaching Program, or you've got any questions about anything at all, please drop me a message on Instagram at BethQFitness, and I will see you lovely, lovely people in the next one.